This is your brain on risk. This is Mind Over Money, the podcast where Kevin Cook exposes the psychology of investing. Welcome back to Mind Over Money. I'm Kevin Cook, your field guide and storyteller for the fascinating arena of behavioral economics. Today we're diving into the disruptive technology that creates new shopping behavior, and vice versa, the shopping behavior that creates new disruptive technology. I call it the ET economy, which stands for experience plus transformation, and I'll explain that in a moment. Let me first give you a preview of the next 28 minutes or so. This show is for you if you are an investor in any of the following companies or they're hoping to be disruptive competitors: Google, Amazon, Facebook, Alibaba, Microsoft, Adobe, and Shopify, among others. And this show is for you if you are an entrepreneur in the trenches of online digital marketing. I'm going to have some cool resources for you to help you grow your business. Finally, this show is for you. Well, this show will be a whirlwind tour, actually, is what I wanted to say, of all these topics as I have experienced them both as an investor and as a friend and consultant to many online marketers. I have no set script, just 5 sheets of paper in front of me with mind maps, notes, and quotes. So if I seem to go off on a tangent or two, or double back on a theme, trust me that there is a method to my madness. I am attempting to tie together some huge changes happening in our global digital economy. Changes that are so exciting and happening right now. These waves will be unfolding for many years, so the quicker you understand them, the better for you, your investments, your business, and your family. And this is such an exciting day to be doing this, as 3 of my favorite companies are all in the news: Facebook, Google, and Alibaba. So let's get started. I'll tell you that news right up front. So Google, you may have heard, just got slapped with a $2.7 billion fine from the EU for basically skewing searches. So, obviously the EU did some kind of investigation to find out that search results were not fair to all players, and probably more fair to Google. So that's pretty huge. Now, $2.7 billion sounds like a lot, but that's nothing for Google. So we'll see how this plays out. I think they have 90 days to give equal treatment to rival sites as part of their penance. And this story will be in the news a little bit because it's I always used to call Google Big Brother, and then when Facebook came along, I called them Little Brother because who has more information on us than those 2 companies? Now, Facebook was in the news because Zuckerberg tweeted out this morning, does he use Twitter? Yeah, I think he does, that they just hit 2 billion users. Now, I don't know if it's considered monthly active users or just people signed up. I'm not really sure, but it's a big number. And I'm fascinated with the Facebook economy. I'll tell you that I wasn't always, but I've been a Facebook investor for the past year and learning all I can about it and meeting tons of online marketers because Facebook has just created this revolution for the small business. I'll tell you, 3 years ago, I was not a fan of Facebook. I didn't use the platform, and I didn't believe that that they were going to make money, that the valuation made sense. When they first reported a profit, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, I was still very skeptical. I thought, oh no, that's just people accidentally clicking on ads on their mobile phone that they don't want to see. And, so that's how Facebook is generating clicks and ad revenue. But I was wrong. And I saw the light last year when I really looked into it, what was happening. Facebook did $26.5 billion in ad revenue last year. And the reason they did is because they've created this, digital revolution for the small business person who can go on there, create an ad, target it to an audience, then can budget their ad spend, and then get analytics to tell them, how things are working. And it's just, I've met so many small business people, selling products and services all over the world now because of the revolution that Facebook has created. So that's really exciting. The third company that's in the news today is another one that I own. I own Facebook and Alibaba. The symbol is BABA. Now, Baba we had some exciting news last week because Jack Ma came to the U.S. and did a little speaking tour, and one of the most exciting things that he said that I caught on to was somebody asked him, so, what's your agenda? Are you here to promote the Alibaba platform because you want, U.S. consumers to be consumers of Chinese goods? And he said, no, completely the opposite. I'm here to talk to U.S. small businesses and show them that they can use Alibaba as the gateway to the largest middle class in the world. You're talking about a middle class that could be at least 500 million people, and Alibaba is the gateway to that market. So that's incredible. If you are a Facebook investor with me and you understand that, or maybe you're an investor in Amazon for the same thing, or maybe you're a digital marketer doing e-commerce on Amazon, then you understand this opportunity with Alibaba, the so-called Amazon of China, and for the small business person here to get access to that market and be able, whether they're shipping a physical product or a digital product or doing some type of consulting or coaching, just amazing possibilities that Baba opens up. And then Baba was in the news today because JP Morgan resumed coverage. They had to drop coverage because of probably an investment banking conflict or something like that. But they resumed coverage with a new street high price target of $190. Now, I've been buying Baba shares since they were below 110, so we're very happy with that. I told all my followers, hey, when last week when it dipped down and below 135, I said, if you don't have Baba, buy some Baba here or add to your position. Now, it's not going to go to 190, by Christmas, but I think that we're going to see it above 175. In the next 2 quarters, and it's just as long as they keep executing. The reason the stock even launched up here was because Ma sort of pre-announced that they're going to do 45 to 49% revenue growth, which is just amazing numbers, and it was well above what street expectations were. So I mentioned a smaller company, Shopify. This is a platform, sort of a mini Amazon, if you will. This stock has been on fire lately. It's shot up to a market cap of over $7 billion, above $90, almost to 100. But it only has trailing 12-month revenues of $444 million. So talk about richly valued, but people, investors are jumping on these opportunities, these new platforms. And Shopify is another example of a revolutionary platform that empowers a small business to have access, to markets in a way they never could. They don't want to do television advertising or radio advertising or print. They can do Facebook advertising and drive people to their Shopify store, so to speak. All right, so that's a lot of the fun stuff. I'm not going to talk about Amazon. Everybody knows that how Amazon is changing the world, changing the way we shop. And disrupting a lot of business too, and we'll talk about some of those. I just wanted to make sure people knew that what was going on with places like Alibaba, the Facebook advertising revolution, and a company like Shopify. And I'm not just a passive investor in these big companies. I'm meeting entrepreneurs who are in the trenches trying to make it happen. And how did this come about? Well, last year I started talking to different people online about their businesses and, why they were using Facebook, what they were accomplishing with Facebook ads. I was taking classes and seminars and webinars and just learning all I could. And I met some fascinating people. And then I actually started doing some consulting for startups, helping them create their investor pitches so they could get funding because I found it fascinating. So, I was learning about all these different businesses. And, I helped one in particular that was developing an app for Macy's. Now, they weren't actually developing. It was more of a project. It was a small firm trying to get a job with a larger firm. Where, hey, here's your assignment: create. Macy's needs a new mobile app because Macy's business is in trouble. What would you create? And I was following this story already. I mean, in August of last year, Macy's reported, hey, we're going to have to close 100 stores. So here the box stores are dying, but for different reasons. And Macy's is struggling to stay relevant in when consumer shopping behavior is changing. So we know this. So I created this fantastic presentation. I mean, my deck was so good. I wish it had gone to Macy's, because I think it would have sold anybody on the model for what you needed to do with an app. I'll come back to that in a minute. I want to talk about what's changing with the big box store, so to speak. And you think about something like, look at Walmart and what Target did when they came in. Why was Target so successful? My theory is, hey, Target was fresh, new, exciting, and the stores were very clean and organized. So it had that appeal. People just don't want value. If all you wanted was value, then you would just shop at Walmart and get what you needed, and you wouldn't care what the stores look like. And Walmart has obviously had to step up and be able to compete with a place like Target. So when I talk about the ET economy, the experience and transformation economy, people just don't want value. They want something that's fresh, friendly, and fun. If I could just, if I could simplify it that much, fresh, friendly, and fun, that's what they want in their experience of shopping. So it's about the store experience. It's about the online experience, obviously. But we should know by now that the physical store, the bricks and mortar, is not going away, because look what Amazon's doing. Not only are they getting, we heard a few months ago they might build some bookstores because they realize that people still like to touch a physical book, but then they're going to try and buy Whole Foods. So that part of the shopping experience is alive and well, and anybody who can keep it fresh, friendly, and fun is going to exceed. Now, the ET economy. Let me explain that title a little bit. This is going to date me a little bit, but when I was a kid, I went to the theater and saw the movie E.T. I'll never forget my mom laughing at that movie, and I was like, "What are you laughing at? This is awesome. This is, this is an encounter with an alien. This is real stuff, Mom. There come the feds. They're going to take them away." She thought it was hilarious. Now that I watch it, it is kind of funny, the little creature. But E.T. was Spielberg, right? I mean, who knows better how to make magic with movies than a guy like Steven Spielberg? And that is the heart of the experience transformation economy, the ET economy, as I call it. And it's beyond entertainment, hopefully. If you read Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, you know that how prescient he was predicting, instead of a 1984 totalitarian culture and society, he said, no, with technology, we could be headed a completely different way, where we just seek pleasure. So, Soma was the drug to make you feel better, and movies were called feelies because you went and watched the movie and you could have all this sensory impact. So, I say, hopefully, it's not all just about entertainment, and people are creating great products and using experiences to learn and better their lives and that of their family. So as I sort of entered into the gig economy, because I wanted to learn more about Facebook from like the ground up, like who was using Facebook ads, and why did somebody decide they could go from spending $10 a day on Facebook ads to now they can spend $1,000 a day, and I've met people who are spending $100,000 a month on Facebook ads for real, because that's the type of business they have, that they can generate that much interest in their products, gain that many new leads, and drive that many new sales that they can spend tens of thousands of dollars per month on Facebook ads. That's how powerful that platform is. Well, we often talk about the gig economy and all these little companies. That's sort of how I got into it. Is I would network with these people and find out who were, where was a small business person, whether they had a digital product, or they were a nutrition coach, or a fitness coach, or financial services. How were they finding their people around the globe on Facebook and marketing directly to them to change their lives? When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the gig economy, and I've got some cool stuff for you. Trying to go through my mind maps right now. Oh gosh, I want to tell you about a TechCrunch story about apps growing to $6.3 trillion. That's what TechCrunch was reporting this morning. By 2021, TechCrunch thinks that the app economy and I don't know what's all included in that, but you can imagine, I suppose they're counting any sort of sales revenue that is generated from an online store, an app, and then what goes into building that technology and who builds the apps and that kind of thing will be worth $6.3 trillion by 2021. All right, I'll be back faster than you could say Google, Amazon, Facebook, Shopify, and Alibaba. So when we talk about the gig economy, what are we talking about? We're talking about freelancers going online, being able to offer their services, some in many cases to anybody else in the world. So there's, TaskRabbit might be used for local services, but Thumbtack, they did a big round of fundraising with Sequoia and Google a couple of years ago, and really exploded their business. And they started. Started small like anybody else, but they were concentrating on using entrepreneurs from Asia who had tech services. So you could go on Thumbtack and find somebody to help you build your website or do some work with data for you. So Thumbtack's a real exciting company there. Upwork is one that I use where I met a lot of people and helped them build pitch decks. There's a new one coming in Europe, and there's all kinds of things. There's like Fiverr. You can pay somebody $5 to do a graphic logo for you. Sometimes the problem with those sites is like it's so hyper competitive. It's like even a real artist can't go on there and make money unless they start building a following, and then they can charge more. They don't have to settle for doing an hour's work for $5. Okay, so one deck that I put together for the app from Macy's. What was cool about that is I really got inside how apps are built and what they're trying to achieve with with the user experience, right? Because it's all about how does it make the user experience better? And I did a lot of research, and I found this great slide presentation from Andreessen Horowitz, old line tech investors, from the .com days, and they make the point that mobile is not about a screen size; it's really about an ecosystem. So when you think about the customer experience and engaging a customer, when they use an app, they want it to be, a whole experience for them that makes sense. They're not just, how quick can I buy something? One of these small firms that does build a lot of apps. You may not have heard of the firm, but you've probably seen their work. Is Clutch, and I love this quote by Andy O'Dell when he's talking about how mobile needs to be personalized. He says, "Because my mobile phone is where I have my most personal and private communication, I don't look at it as a commercial device. Rather, I look at my phone as a personal device. So if I'm downloading an app, I expect that app to have the same level of personalization." He goes on, talking about how consumers want more than shopping. People don't like mobile shopping apps because they want something that's a conduit to the brand themselves. He says something that people want that richer experience, and not just be motivated to buy something. The investment in a standalone solution is inadequate. People don't just want more access to shopping. They want an experience that's personalized and rewarding, visually, convenience-wise, and price-wise. Okay, so that's the challenge of anybody trying to get your engagement with a mobile app to get you to shop that way. And it's a huge one. Now let's talk a little bit more about Facebook ads, because I want to tell you about one of the really incredible marketers that I met, a guy named Scott Oldford from Canada. He teaches people, if anybody's online, they have to have a marketing funnel, right? You have this big wide open funnel at the top, and you're trying to pull people down through, to drive some kind of conversion, and maybe the first thing is just an email address, but eventually you want them to become some type of lifetime customer. Scott Oldford teaches this method he calls the SSF method, and it stands for sidewalk, slow lane, fast lane. So when you think about if you engage a customer online, and you get their email address, or a potential customer rather, and you get their email address, what do you do next? Hopefully you find out how interested they are in what you have to offer, whether it's a physical product or a service or a digital product. And what Scott teaches is, hey, you've got to define your prospects, in terms of how hungry they are for a solution like yours, or even how aware they are. So he says somebody on the sidewalk, for instance, is just browsing. They may not even be aware that they have a problem and that you have the solution. So there's a long nurture sequence of education with email contact, et cetera. And then the slow lane is, somebody who is probably aware of their problem and they're actively searching for solutions, and that's how they found you online. Something you clicked on, and they were able to put a Facebook ad in front of you that was relevant. And then the fast lane would be somebody who wants a solution now, and they're actively looking at it. So I highly recommend looking up Scott Oldford and his SSF method. That stands for sidewalk, slow lane, fast lane method, and that's the URL, ssfmethod.com. Another cool thing that Scott did at the beginning of the year, I was on some of his webinars. He made 8 big predictions for Facebook marketing. And I want to share these with you because, for me, I look at Facebook from the top down. Like, how did they create $26 billion in ad revenue last year, and that was 55% growth. And how are they going to grow that another 30 to 35% this year to hit like $35 billion in ad revenue? And by the way, here's to give you the full picture of what Facebook is doing. People think, oh, well, that's just because Google AdWords is dying. And that's not the case at all. Google is growing their ad revenue too, whether it's Google Display Ads or YouTube. Facebook is expanding the whole pie. So together, Google and Facebook obviously dominate digital advertising. They're going to do probably $110 billion this year. And, that's fantastic growth. And they're just, Facebook is just expanding the pie. They're not stealing anything from Google. So, that's what this revolution is about for the small business. So Oldford put together this article at the beginning of the year called, what did he say? Eight bold Facebook predictions. And I had to agree with so many of them. He's talking about the cost is going to increase because once corporate America realizes what they can do with Facebook ads, they're going to start putting more money into it. So if you are an entrepreneur and you've been thinking about using Facebook ads for your product or service that you can sell, you can do local stuff too. I know a guy who does marketing for fitness gyms, which you're not selling anything digital or online there. You're trying to get somebody to come to the gym for a membership. So how does he do that? He's able to create local advertising for like 20 different fitness gyms in Florida, and using the targeting power of Facebook. So he's not going global with it; he's going local, and it works. So once corporate America realizes that the power that they can have with this digital revolution, they're going to be on there more. Obviously, Mike, in these 8 changes, number 2 is micro targeting. I think that is sort of self-explanatory. Number 3, focus on awareness and audience advertising. So, Scott teaches you've got to become relevant to your customer. If you're doing any kind of advertising online, whether you're selling a product or service, you have to make sure that, get in their relevancy zone, so to speak. I want to find a couple more things he talked about here. He's number 6, death of the ad. I'm not sure what he's talking about there, but if you look up Scott Oldford and you get a hold of this article, you'll like it. Obviously, the rise of video, number 7, is huge. We're seeing it everywhere. Video, in some ways, more and more people doing video, less articles. How are people getting their news? How are they getting their information? And more people are just using video to get that done. Now, Scott also talks about leveraging intimacy, one-to-one intimacy with your customers. So and that's part of his method. The other thing that he just started doing this year was using the Facebook Messenger bots. Now, I don't know if you're somebody can't message you obviously on Facebook Messenger unless you've accepted. I accepted his, and so I get these messenger bots from, this messenger bot is running part of his marketing campaigns and his messages, but it doesn't have that feel of being, like you're talking to a robot. It's he's targeting you. Hey, are you interested in this offer? Check this out. And you can click right away and get access to something or not. So more smart marketers are going to be learning to use bots to communicate with their people. Let me tell you about some other cool people that I've met in this digital revolution as I've sort of researched it from the, gone to the front lines and tried to meet more people. People across fitness, nutrition, sales. A sales trainer I met, Wes Schaefer. He calls himself the sales whisperer. Great guy. He was an Air Force guy, and then he's one of the top sellers for Infusionsoft. Infusionsoft, if you don't know, is a platform for an online marketer to organize their contacts. So it's sort of like Salesforce CRM, right? Your database, it holds your database of contacts, and then you can schedule certain things that you're doing. Send out your emails, make notes, gather data. It's a pretty incredible platform. They are not public. A competitor is public though, HubSpot. The symbol there is HUBS. HubSpot does the same sort of thing. Tries to create the whole marketing chain for you, sales and marketing from the first, from the ad you put out there that finds a customer to how you follow up and deliver whatever it is you're selling to them. Another cool person I came in contact with was a woman named Brie Arsinger. She calls herself the Betty Rocker. She's a fitness coach. She is crazy funny, and if anybody's looking to get in shape, you got to look up this girl called the Betty Rocker. She calls herself that because I guess when she was younger, she was into cooking food, right? Somebody might have teased her and called her Betty Crocker, but she's sort of punk, right? And you'll see that when you see her tattoos and stuff. And so it became the Betty Rocker. And she does like these incredible fitness videos. And you get into her funnel, and she'll send you for a month, she'll send you a fresh video every morning of a workout. You do a 5 to 10, 15-minute workout with her. You'll be in shape. I think I gave up after a week. It was too hard for me. But and the other day I talked to somebody in Abu Dhabi. What's going on in the United Arab Emirates is so cool. It's Arab culture, right? But it's the majority population is like expats. Different types of entrepreneurs are there doing lots of different things, and you've got all this wealth, right, and royalty that they want to build, sort of their own innovation capital there in the UAE. So it's just fascinating stuff. Then I also met some people doing the digital nomad thing in Thailand. I don't know if you know about some of these places in the Far East where they're people create maybe they've already got a business, and then they're just able to go to these communities and just travel and run their business online. So amazing stuff happening there. Another company I met, Wicked Reports, is they do the tracking of your Facebook ads. So it's like if you want to be able to tell, hey, how am I finding people, and how are they becoming my customers? When did I find them? What ad worked? That's a company called Wicked Reports out of Boston. Obviously, they're wicked smart there. So, I am basically out of time. I'm getting the hook from my producer here. I've talked everyone's ear off, but I hope you got some value out of this. Shoot me an email or leave a comment below the article if you need me to give you the links to any of these resources. I'll write an article attached to this on the Zach's website with some of those links, like the 8 big predictions for Facebook advertising, and obviously I'm an investor in these stocks. I think I disclosed I own Facebook, Alibaba, and that's it for right now. All right. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you soon.